Hi and welcome back to the Witching Hour Audio YouTube channel. My name's Sean. Thanks for joining us again. I had a project recently where we needed to add some wah to some guitars that we were recording, and do have my old Crybaby here, but we chose to do it using an amp sim. And at first, I didn't have an expression pedal, so I wasn't quite sure how to tackle wah. Originally in the demo, this person had an auto wah in the track, which sounded great, but of course, you lose some of that deliberate expression that you get from using a wah pedal. So what we chose to do instead was use a Midi controller. In this case, I'm using my M Audio Oxygen 61 keyboard controller, but essentially any Midi controller will do. We use the pitch wheel to get this done, but I found it useful. It took me a few minutes to work out because it was new to me, so just sharing it here in the hope that you find it useful. We are using the Archetype Neural DSP Archetype Petrucci, which has a great wah pedal built in. So I'm going to show the process on how I connect my pitch wheel of my Midi controller into that plugin and then use Cubase to record the Midi information. And the great thing is that we can then also edit that information later on to get the expression just right and just the way we intend it. So we'll go in and have a look at that and hope this is useful. So essentially we've got a pretty basic Cubase template here. I'm going to have a left and right guitar and just a bit of a standard, slightly cheesy rock beat playing in Superior Drummer. Just give us a bit of a feel to apply our wah to. So this is going to be pretty rough around the edges, but it'll serve our purpose. So forgive me in advance. Remember to do that fumble at the end the second time around. And let's do one for the right. Alright, so now we've got some questionable guitar playing in place. We're going to look at how to add a MIDI effect on top of our amp sim that's currently running. Alright, so if we have a look at the mixing window, I assume everyone knows how to do this, but we can click F3 and have a look at this view. What I've done here is my left and right guitars have just been bussed into a stereo bus, and what I've done is I've added my amp sim. In this case, the STL Tonality, Josh Middleton, one of my favorites. That is applying our guitar sound to our left and right tracks in stereo. So they're routed as stereo here. The reason I've done that is because when I apply the wire on top of this, I want it to affect both tracks at once. So I don't have to create two wire tracks. This is a much simpler way to go about it. What we're going to do now is on this bus, we are going to click our inserts and add an instance of Archetype Petrucci. And the reason I've chose this is because it's got a wah feature, but you can choose any amp sim that has a wah that allows you to input MIDI. So first thing I'm going to do here is turn off the doubler and turn off all of the effects, because we don't want to color the sound whatsoever. We want to only use our wah section of this plugin. So that's over here. And what we're going to do is go back into our mixing window and add a MIDI track. So we go add track MIDI, and we'll call this wah expression, or whatever you want to call it is fine. And we will now click monitoring, because we want this to come through. And we're also going to set it to write automation, because soon we're going to be automating our expression with the wheel. So make sure your automation writing is engaged. And the next thing we need to do is over here, we need to make sure that our wah MIDI track is connected to our Archetype Petrucci plugin. So if we have a look here, if you look closely on the guitar bus, there's an instance of Archetype Petrucci, which is what we want. So you make sure that they're connected. And now what we're going to do is if we open up our instance of that plugin, what we're going to do is, of course, make sure your MIDI controller is on. My keyboard is, which we'll have a look at in a moment. But you want to right click here and click Enable MIDI Learn. All right, that's going to glow green. And now all things being the way we want them, if I move my keyboard up and down, it will learn our input. So you can see that's working. And you'll also need to engage the wah feature, of course. So there we go. All right, now if I play my audio and move my assigned controller, which in this case was the wheel, you'll be able to hear what that sounds like. So if we have a closer look at what we have ended up with, the moves that we made with that mouse wheel are actually all recorded here. So if you wanted to, you could do a whole second pass and it will wipe what's there. But if we want to take what's there and just adjust it, we can turn our automation off. Firstly, listen back. Alright, this is a pretty rough take anyway, but I quite liked the feel of the expression up to about here. So what we're going to do here, it started to go a bit funny. So we're going to open this up to see it a little more in detail and really focus on what's going on. So we'll zoom in a little. I don't like how that came up so quickly there. So we can delete those. We can actually create curves if we want to, and adjust where they end up. So let's hear how this sounds. All right, not too bad. Let's have a nice deliberate drop here. And we'll simplify our curves. It's set to grid, so I'm going to turn that off to allow me to adjust it a bit more freeform. That's better, but we're going to come in here and just give it a less aggressive dip. So I'll create a new point and bring this one down, etc. So you kind of get the idea. That's pretty rough as guts. Need a lot of adjusting from that point, but now we do have wah that we have controlled quite deliberately. It's worth noting that you can select all these, and all things MIDI in Cubase, you can use your handles on the side to compress, to extend. There's quite a lot of different things you can do. If you grab these, you can actually get things to gradually rise or fall, etc. So hopefully you found that somewhat useful. Like I said, recently I've had a project where we needed to include some expressive wah, but without using my analog old school Crybaby, it was hard to create the same effect. So I looked to my digital tools to recreate that effect. And it's a lot more fun and more expressive than using some kind of auto wah where it's a little more disconnected from the music. So thanks again for checking out the channel. Please like and subscribe. We're going to be making a few more videos as we come along. If you want to know more about me or my work, the website is witchingouraudio.com. And I look forward to catching you on the next video. Cheers.